Hello, it's Enestor and I'm back with another Wi-Fi battle against my buddy LemioOnlyLockes, link in the description below. Also, sorry for the lack of uploads over the week. I was gone on spring break and I was not proactive about making videos beforehand, so sorry if you missed me. So I'm just gonna hop right into this battle real quick, because it was a pretty good one. It was pretty good, yeah. So Lemio is issuing a challenge. I decided to lead off with my T-Tar, completely thinking that the Smeargle was going to lead because Sticky Web completely destroys my team and anything that it wants to do, because my team is 100% based on speed except for this T-Tar. So I'm like, alright, we have to get rid of it fast, but Lemio decides to predict that and go lead with the Breloom. So I send in my Aegislash predicting like the Mach Punch or the Bullet Seed. He goes for the Bullet Seed, and as you guys are going to see, he does get pretty lucky getting 2 crits in a row right now. Or gets 1 crit, and I'm like, whatever, that's essentially almost 3. So Breloom now loses its Focus Sash if it had it with that Sandstream, so I'm like, alright, odds are he's predicting me to go for the Shadow Ball, so I predicted that, went for the Flash Cannon, predicting the Smeargle, and that decided to work out very nicely in my favor, because he does indeed bring in the Smeargle, and I do take the Smeargle down to its Focus Sash, and it is going to die due to the Sandstream, so I don't have to worry about any Sticky Web this game, which was beautiful for my team because, as I said before, the speed with Alakazam and Jolteon and Garchomp is pretty much what makes this team really good. I guess decent. So he sent this Melodic, which is pretty good to counter my Aegislash. So I was just wanting to scout out what this thing wanted to do. So I went for the Shield form, or switch to I go to King Shield, trying to see what he wants to do. He goes for the Dragon Pulse, and I'm like, alright, he might go for the Dragon Pulse again, predicting my my Garchomp, but so I decided to switch into my Tyranitar against my better judgment, which was not exactly the best play, and it doesn't work out in my favor because I do bring in the T-Tar, and Lemio does predict that pretty nicely, decides to go for the Scald. It's going to do a lot of damage against me. It's going to do about half. I'm like, oh god, this is going to do a lot of damage. I'm not going to be able to live this nicely. I'm like debating, do I want to get rocked or do I want to get as much damage as possible on this Melodic before it decides to like essentially kill me. So I think that I went for the Crunch this turn as he goes for his Scald, but this turn he does indeed get the burn. I'm like, oh crap. My T-Tar at this point was useless. I was thinking about like keeping him after this Crunch, but after seeing that stupid burn, I'm like, yeah, this thing is useless. And my Sandstream is gone. It's like sort of beneficial for me because I don't really have the Aegislash and the Scizor. Actually, Garchomp could have been useful in this Sandstream, but whatever. Just I wasn't really thinking that much during this battle because it is Lemio. So he does go for the safe Dragon Pulse just in case I want to switch out to like Scizor to take it a little better. No, what am I saying? Why would I switch in Scizor? Oh well, he went for the Dragon Pulse, I don't know why he'd go for a Dragon Pulse, it was a bit odd. So I do go for, I switch in my Gonzalez, just trying to get some momentum on my side because I am Choice Specs, and Volt Switch will hit whatever he wants, will hit whatever is on his team because he has no ground types. So I go for the Volt Switch. He switches in his Breloom, which was a bit questionable in my eyes. So if I went for the T-Bolt, there's no way he was gonna live that. So I send in seeing that he sent in his Breloom, I bring in my Aegislash counter because I essentially don't want to be like, I think this thing is the most useless on this team for his team, but Lemio decides to go for the Rock Tomb, which was very, very odd. I was just baffled while I go for the safe Shadow Ball. It is gonna finish out Breloom, and I'm just thinking, why do you have Rock Tomb, Breloom? I'm just like questioning, why didn't you go for the Spore? Why didn't you do like anything else with your life? But I guess that's what Lemio wants to do, just use weird sets. So he sends in his Absol. I knew this thing was going to be a Mega Evolution, so I'm thinking that he will want to Swords Dance, predicting my switch out, trying to get some kind of momentum on his side. I thought it would be best if I took the risk and go for the Flash Cannon this turn. He does indeed go for the Swords Dance, thinking that I would switch out, and I'm like, nah bro, I'm not about that life. I'm not gonna let you take me out that way. So I do get the special defense drop. Doesn't really matter because my second flash cannon will take him out. But I'm not exactly sure if I can live a sucker punch at this range, especially in blade form. So I go into King Shield predicting the sucker punch. I probably should have switched out at this point, but I didn't. So that is sort of this is sort of bad playing on my part right now, because I thought I could live a sucker punch with full health, but I completely underestimated the power of Mega Absol with Sword Stance, so my H-Slash just straight up died. So I'm forced to bring in my Alakazam, waste up its Focus Sash, which I'm not sure if Lemio knew that, but whenever I bring in my Alakazam, he never thinks that it's Focus Sash, even though it's most of the time is. So I decided to go for the safe Energy Ball because I wasn't exactly confident that Focus Blast would hit, so I go for that. I knew that this Honchkrow would probably go for the Sucker Punch because that would be the best move for him. So I decided to switch right out to my Caesar, just try to get something. He goes for the Brave Bird. I'm like, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to live this. I'm completely overestimating Brave Bird's power because I do live that barely. I'm very surprised because I don't have defense investment. I have mostly special defense investment, so that's good for me to live. And I do believe I killed the Lemio mob by Lemio's mascot with a U-turn, which is very nice on my part. And I'm able to switch into my Hammerhead. Not exactly the best Pokemon to bring in, especially with that Milotic still roaming around. I probably should have switched in my Gonzalez from the beginning, but you gotta live and learn. I don't know why I brought him in. I don't even know why I brought in my Alakazam. I think I just wanted to see what he wanted to do, or I wanted to safe switch in. This battle was a long time ago, so I'm sorry if I'm like thinking wrong, but I think I went for switching Alakazam for Death Fodder, which was not exactly the best play because I do believe all he has left is the Milotic and his Darmanitan. So I send in my Gonzalez. I'm like, alright, I'm most likely gonna kill this thing with his Thunderbolt. And I do indeed, and all he has left now is his Darmanitan. I'm like, alright, odds are it's either Choice Scarfed or Choice Banded. If it's Choice Banded, I can get as much damage as I can, which I do. And if it was Choice Scarfed, I would have been able to like send in whatever, and probably send in my Garchomp and live, but he is Choice Band. He's gonna easily take out my Gonzalez. I send in my Caesar just to toy with him a little. It's like, yeah, you're gonna die to this bullet punch. It's gonna be funny. You're not gonna be able to live this, buddy. So this was a pretty good battle on his part and not really on my part. I did have the better team, so that's sort of why I won, because it's relatively more cookie cutter, more standard. But as always, leave a rating. This has been Enestor, and I will see you guys later.
In the T-Tar.
Of course I do. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
Probably create a pursuit.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. Because I do too.
I mean, it's the most obvious.